Okay, so let's talk about okra for just a minute. People tend to fall into two camps when it comes to okra. There's people like me who absolutely love it in almost every way and every kind, and the people that are, oh my gosh, no, that's gross and it's slimy. So there are certain tips that you can do to kind of avoid that slime. We'll get to that in just a minute. But let's talk about the vegetable itself for just a second. So okra is a pod. I don't know the technical name for it, but I was having a online chat with a friend of mine in Germany last night who actually had to wiki it. She had never, it's just not there, right? Okra arrived to North America from West Africa. It grows really well in the southeast, and we Southerners absolutely love it. So let's take a look at here. Now, when you're wanting to pick your okra, right, the smaller pods here, we call these pickling okras, and these are really the best, right? You're going to get little, if any, slime out of these. Next up, this would still be pretty good. About a medium-sized pod that's going to be really, really good for frying. And then the bigger you go, the more chance you're going to get that sort of slime factor. It also, I find, the bigger you get, the woodier it gets. And I find also that the longer in the season, the growing season it goes, the woodier it gets as well. So those are three sizes of okra. So what we're about to do is we're about to break these down to get them ready to fry. I'm going to show you a tip about storing and freezing it if you wanted to break it down and not fry it same day. So yeah, so let's get started with the okra. Oh, on tips and tricks for the slime. Do not crowd okra when you're cooking it. And okra tends to need to be dealt with at a pretty high temperature, so it's perfect for deep frying. As a general rule of thumb, I find that most restaurants just ruin fried okra. First of all, they're using a frozen product. It's over-breaded. You bite into it, the breading falls off of it, and here's the slimy little wad of okra in the middle of that. You do not need to over batter this. I didn't ever use an egg wash. Both of my meatballs never used an egg wash on this. It is simply battering this in cornmeal and cooking it in smallish batches over fairly high heat. And another thing that we've always done in my family is if you think it's done, cook it a little bit longer, right? We like ours almost to the burnt part. My dad loved it burnt. And we eat it like popcorn pretty much with our fingers, right? So yeah, so that is pretty much what I've got to say about okra. So watch. Alright, so what I did is I topped and tailed, as I call it, the okra pods that I showed you earlier, and I cut them down into sort of coin-sized pieces like this. Now, you are going to want to wash this and dry it very, very thoroughly before you even start breaking it down like this. So I washed and dried this yesterday, and that is also going to help you avoid the slime that we've talked about. What I've got here is actually it's cornbread mix, right? So you can use cornmeal. All I had was the cornbread mix, so that's what we're going to go here. I have not salt and peppered anything at this point. I'll taste when it comes out of the oil to see if we want to add any salt at that point in time. But I really don't want to start breaking down or leaking out any moisture. Now, here is a tip, not only on breading, but let's say you got this at the market, you wanted to break it down and freeze it into portion size, containers for use later. What I do is, let's see here, I'm going to try to divide this up here. Okra will go everywhere, I'll just go ahead and tell you that. On here, right, see what I tell you. Alright, so I want them to become even. Okra is one of those things that you just don't do for a lot of people. And true story, typically when I'm doing it over here at my mom's, I sometimes conveniently forget to tell my brother that some fried okra action is going on. Because between him and I, we could probably eat 5 pounds of fried okra, which is, you know, neither good nor there. So, alright, I think we've reasonably got that kind of divided up, right? Put your breading into the bag. So as I told you, I do not do any wet breading for okra. It's not the true way to do it. Alright? Try to get as much of this air out as possible. Seal it and bread it. Just like that. You can see how that is nicely coated. Don't worry about any excess in here. You can deal with that when you thaw it. Again, squish the air out. We're going to coat it. These are ready for the freezer for when you're ready for fried okra. Okay, so let's get to frying up some okra. Alright, so we're going to start with a cast iron skillet. You could use a non-stick, any type of skillet. And I'm going to add about a cup of flavor neutral oil. We're using a pure canola here. I've got some that's left over. Get that in there. It's about a cup, so I'm only using about 1 package of the okra that I showed you how to, process, break down, and freeze. So, so that's what we're using, and this, is more than sufficient oil for that. So I'm going to turn the heat. Let's see, where's my center? Center on the dual to about, actually I can use the single here because this is a big eye, about 6, and we're going to let this oil start heating up. I do not use thermometers or anything like that. When the oil is ready, it'll tell you, and I will show you how to test it before you dump all your okra in. You're going to need to kind of make sure your oil is ready and ready to talk back to you before you go ahead and proceed. So we're going to let this heat, and we'll be right. Okay, so the oil's been heating up a few minutes or so. I'm starting to see a little smoke come off of it. First thing I do to test my oil is take a little cornmeal and see if it's going to do that dance. And that's looking pretty good. Then I'm going to take maybe 1 piece of okra. See it in there. That's what you want. If you don't get that sizzle, wait. If you put it in and it's not sizzling, all your breading's going to fall off. So with that, we'll start adding this a little bit at a time to our skillet. That's pretty. And take my okra spoon, move it up and kind of situated. A little bit more, just kind of drop them in. Okay, so I'm going to let it go with that as a first batch because I don't want to overcrowd it. So I'm looking for a really golden brown, almost to the point of black. And we want crispy, so we're going to let this go and we'll check back in here shortly. Alrighty, so this first batch has been going now a little over, pushing about maybe 7 minutes or so. It's not ready. you want to let it go just a little bit longer. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll take this first batch out. All right, you can see that coloration on it. That's what you're going for. You want crispy. Hot, hot. I'm going to hit that with a little bit of salt, but that's where you want to be. Now I've got the second batch going here. Hopefully it doesn't turn into this glue because it's a little crowded, but we'll see how it works out. I think it'll be alright if we just let it go. I wanted to kind of show you the okra spoon. I know we can get that. Everybody remembers the the blue wheat leaf. This thing's older than I am. Always use it for frying the okra. So yeah, gang, this is where we're heading, and it's going to be delicious. I can tell you one of the hardest damn things about frying okra is that you have to do it in batches, is staying out of that you've already cooked. Okay, like I said, you don't want to over maneuver it, but you do reach a point where you want to flip it. Like that. You want to get the green side down and the brown side up. Trying to do it in sort of as a single-handed motion that you can manage here with one hand. There we go. Yeah. This is almost, I would say, about to the halfway point where I want it. Alright, let's get everything sort of nest and just let nature do its job. Alright, there you have it. Fried okra and the okra spoon. And we're having just a good old sort of summer supper here. Fried okra to me is the taste of summer. I've just got some grilled chicken breast, sliced fresh tomato, and we're starving, so we're going to hit that. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, if you will, on frying okra. One of my favorite things to eat on the planet. I'm Mr. B. If you like what you see, click subscribe. And also, I'd appreciate it if especially you Southern folks out there, if you've got any tips and comments on frying okra, how your Meemaws did it, let me know. I really would love to hear it. So look forward to that, and I'll see you all the next time. Thank you.